Karundar met me in 1970 at the Portland Temple and decided that he wanted me to become his assistant in working for the book publishing. So in 1971, he brought me to New Dwarka, and he personally trained me throughout 71, 72, and 73. And then the unimaginable happened, and Karundar left at the end of 73, which was a shock. And Jayatirtha and I flew immediately to Hawaii to visit with Srila Prabhupada. And at that time, Prabhupada was asking us, how will things go on? And the conclusion was that Karundar's jobs would be split. Jayatirtha would handle the zonal responsibilities, and I would handle the BBT responsibilities. So in 1974, early 74, I made an official BBT visit to our Brooklyn temple where ISKCON Press was located. I'd been to the temple a number of times as a book distributor and as a preacher about book distribution, but not in this capacity as the BBT manager. So I met with Bali Mardan and I met with the press devotees and the artists to discuss production in 1974. What are we going to be producing? I have to know, because now I'm handling the publishing. So we were getting ready to reprint two books, the TLC, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, and the Krishna book. One of the artists had been working for the better part of almost a year on line drawing sketches that would appear in every chapter of the Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. The other devotees had been regularly painting for the Srimad Bhagavatam. We were up to the third canto already. And they had this idea that in the reprint of the Krishna book, some of the paintings in the original were done in 68, 69, early 1970. The artist's technique had gotten much better. They thought that the paintings today, in 74, look more realistic. So they had proposed to me that they were going to take out some of those paintings and insert some of the newer paintings that they had been doing for the Bhagavatam that also happened to deal with Krishna Lila. Okay, so it was my task to fly back to LA. Prabhupada was getting ready for his 1974 visit, and present all of this to Srila Prabhupada as my first official meeting and act as a BBT manager. So Prabhupada was in his room and I came up and we started off by showing him the drawings of the Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. And one by one by one, Prabhupada was commenting and rejecting them for various reasons. Prabhupada liked the original drawings, as simple as they were, that had been done by Govinda Dasi and Gaurasundar. These drawings, while technically, I think, superior, lacked in so many ways, according to Srila Prabhupada. In one drawing, the Goswamis, Rupa and Sanatan, were absent. In another drawing, one of the Goswamis was sitting on the same level as Lord Chaitanya. On and on, Prabhupada would tear apart these drawings. And as he kept going through them, he was getting angry. Now, I don't know if any devotee had ever seen Srila Prabhupada angry before. I certainly had not. So it was a shock, and it was scary, and I was very frightened. And the conclusion was we weren't going to use any of those drawings. So then I had to now bring out the Krishna book and start to show Prabhupada the paintings that the artists wanted to take out and the press devotees wanted to take out, and the new ones that they wanted to insert. So I introduced the topic, and Prabhupada said, they want to add paintings? I said, no, Srila Prabhupada, they want to replace paintings, not add. In some cases, they are the same scene, they think they painted it better. In other cases, they want to replace, they want to take out paintings that they think were painted too long ago and they're not painted in a serious way, and insert other paintings, not of the same Leela, but just because they're technically better. Prabhupada said, what? You have no authority to do that. You have no authority here. Once a painting has been approved, you can't remove it. If you want to repaint that pastime, and if the new painting is better, shows more detail, shows more lila, more character, that might be considered. But just to take one painting out, to put a different one in, no, you cannot do that. He said, once I have approved something in my books, it is eternal. Once a painting is approved, it is eternal. You have no authority. I said, oh, okay. So I said, do you want me to show you what they're proposing? And very unhappily, he said, okay. So I started to show Srila Prabhupada the paintings, one by one, that they wanted to insert. One of them was a painting of Krishna killing Putana. Now, we had a painting of Krishna killing Putana, so this, I think, would have fit the category of we're taking an old one out and putting in a better one. Prabhupada looked at it. He made a face. This was printed in the second canto. I don't know if they still use it. And Prabhupada said, that is an ugly black mass. That is not superior. Rejected. Okay. And on, I showed Prabhupada a painting of Krishna sitting on the rocks, which I thought was beautiful. Prabhupada thought his hair was too long and wild. Rejected. And besides, you don't want to add, you want to take out a painting that I have already approved for that? No, rejected. And as I kept showing Srila Prabhupada these paintings, the anger that had started with the line drawings for TLC had grown to almost like roaring proportions. At one point, he was pounding his fist on the desk, saying, this is what I'm afraid of, that you will make changes in my books that will ruin them. No, you have to get permission. You cannot do this. So finally, I had one last painting to show Srila Prabhupada. I said, Prabhupada, they want to take out the painting of the Ras Leela and insert this new painting of the Ras Leela that appeared in the third canto. Prabhupada didn't say a word for a moment. From his sitting room, he can look into his bedroom where he sees this beautiful painting of the original Ras Leela that Devahuti did hanging on his wall. So he's looking at that painting. Then he looks back at the print of the painting that we wanted to put in his book. I said, you think this is better? This is a hippie dance. Their heads are not covered. Krishna's hair is wild. The gopis' hair is wild. Hippie seeds. Hippie dance. Rascals. They're all rascals. Prabhupada was so angry. He was banging his fist and yelling at me. At that time, his servant Sudama came running in because he heard the yelling. He couldn't imagine what it was. He opens the door. He sees Prabhupada like Nrsingadev. He couldn't even get down to offer his obeisances. He was so terrified. He stood in the doorway. On one foot, he lifted himself up with his other foot and covered his eyes. He couldn't bear to see the scene. And then Prabhupada said to me, get out. And he threw us both out. It was the first of many lessons that Prabhupada gave me about making changes in his book.